Good morning. Welcome to the Editorial Edge on the 5th of September 2023. My name is Bhuvan Apurva, and over the course of the next, say, 30 to 40, 50 odd minutes, we will take a look at three important topics that you ought to be aware of. Okay, they have been in the news recently, and we will seek to understand the holistic perspective around that particular topic. Okay, if you are a regular watcher of the Editorial Edge, may I please go ahead and request you to quickly like this stream for me. And if you're joining me for the first time, well, stick around, because what I have for you are those three topics and along with them, questions. Because eventually, you are expected to solve questions in the examination. And that is the focus, the outcome-based learning that we always focus on here at StudyIQ IAS. Well, that's going to be served over the course of the next, say, 40 odd minutes. All right, the topics that I have for you this morning. Number one, Deeksha e-education platform, and in particular we'll seek to understand about something, a new concept now that has been introduced called PAL. Okay, so we'll seek to understand what exactly is PAL, predictive learning. What is exactly predictive learning? We'll seek to understand that. Thereafter, we'll seek to understand the Pulikali festival. Now this has been in the news. Why? Because, well, Onam was being celebrated, observed with a lot of fervor in Kerala. And the Pulikali dance is an integral part of the Onam celebrations. So we ought to look at the Pulikali dance, okay, the history behind it, and the recent changes now that has come in as a result of, say, we are in the 21st century. So obviously you will see that, that has been incorporated in this dance form. So we'll seek to understand what are the changes, okay. And third, last but not the least, we'll take a look at the hop maneuver. So if you were following the news yesterday, ISRO put out a tweet. Okay, and what I can safely say is that there are certain parts of the Chandrayaan-3 mission that were dependent on, say, the initial stages, making it seamlessly, And now that has happened, well, ISRO is telling us what else are they planning over the course of the Chandrayaan-3 mission. What is it that is going on? And on September the 22nd, a new dawn shall come probably, if, again, the Vikram lander and the entire module, the setup on the lunar surface wakes up, because right now it has been put to sleep. It's gone in sleep mode. Okay, so we'll seek to understand the hop maneuver as well as what are the likely outcomes after the sleep mode is over, after the lunar day once again surfaces on the moon on the September the 22nd. Okay, Bulbul, good morning. Lekam, good morning. Thank you so much. Oh, it's a pleasant surprise. Thank you. I'm grateful for your thanks, Coder. Thank you so much. You know what? I'll tell you what. A teacher is essentially made by his or her students. And I am proud to say that my select band of students who join me every morning, it's an absolute pleasure to interact with them. It's an honor to teach you. And I'm happy insofar as an interaction over the course of the last 3 months. And I am hopeful that in the coming, say, next 9, 10, 12 months leading up to your examination, we will work together to ensure your success. Okay. Thanks for your wishes, guys. Thank you. All right. So what we'll do is first, here is my Instagram. Sorry, is it my Instagram? Yes, it is my Instagram. So if you want to send me my Teachers' Day messages directly, well, here is where you go ahead and connect with me. Scan this and become a part of my small but very strong Instagram community. And this is where you will find the PDF of the lecture uploaded around noon. This is my Telegram community. Okay, again, growing fast, and we do a lot of good work here. So go ahead, make yourself a part of this particular Telegram channel. All right, yesterday we discussed India statistics, and I shared an important article on my Telegram channel also regarding the past, the present, and the future of India's statistics. Okay, we drew right from, say, the Arthashastra and the A.N.A. Akbari, thereafter to the National Statistical Commission, the whole history, the whole build-up of India's statistical journey. Okay, so in that concept, let's look at this. The National Statistical Commission, the NSC, a statutory body, by the way, this was set up by the recommendations of the Rangarajan Committee is absolutely correct. All right, this was, in fact, the Rangarajan Committee that said that, well, go ahead, set up the NSC, a statutory body that will undertake all these surveys, these household surveys, all the different kinds of sampling that is done on a national scale. Okay. The chairperson of the National Statistical Commission enjoys a status similar to a cabinet minister. Well, unfortunately, no, not a cabinet minister, but a minister of state. All right. So the chairperson is given the status of an MOS, whereas the other members are given the status equivalent to the secretary to the government of India. Okay. The chairperson may be removed, well, obviously not by the Prime Minister, because, well, all the appointments of these orders of these types are made in the name of the President, which is why it is the President's prerogative to go ahead and ask them to vacate office or just leave demit office. Okay. So this is in fact the President. So your correct statements here being only A. All right. Let's look at statement B. The United Nations Statistical Commission has more members than the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. Now, yesterday we discussed that India's, say, re-election, may I say, to the United Nations Statistical Commission after a gap of what, close to 20 years. Okay, last elected in 2004. Okay, and this election, 24 members that are selected, or may I say elected, okay. The 24 members that are elected on the basis of equitable geographical representation, which means from all continents you have representatives that have elections, and then the winners of those elections represent those particular geographical areas. Okay. So in this case, the UN Statistical Commission has 24 members, whereas the P5, well, by the name, has 5 members, which means obviously it has more number of members here. The members of United Nations Statistical Commission are elected on the basis of equitable geographical distribution. Absolutely correct. India was last member in 2004. So the incorrect statements here being, well, none. All 3 are correct here. Let's look at question number 3 that I had for you. Arthashastra and N.A. Akbari. Okay. Now here is what you are going to do. Obviously, those who watched yesterday's lecture, you are going to remember, say, what did Arthashastra have? Say, village accountants that used to calculate the output and the expenditure coming out of a particular village. Okay. N.A. Akbari had weights and measurements. That is well known. You are going to use these points in mains. All right. Wherever you are asked a question on statistics, and it's likely that you will be asked a question on statistics because that has been in the news majorly, make sure that you include these points in your introduction. Okay. From the prelims perspective, obviously the incorrect statements here being none. Both are correctly matched. All right. Chitin. We discussed fungi yesterday, and the exoskeleton of fungi, or fungi as we know it, is made of chitin, which is a polysaccharide, which is essentially a nitrogen containing polysaccharide. Okay. Chitin is essentially what gives the shape to the fungi. Okay. So, well, which of the following is chitin made up of? Nitrogen containing polysaccharide. Okay. Question E. Once again, are fungi autotrophic? Well, unfortunately, no. Yesterday we discussed they are heterotrophic. Okay. Autotrophic are those who go ahead and make their own food. Fungi source their food from the already made food of, say, other organisms. Okay. Fungi contain cell wall? Absolutely. Yes, they do. Okay. They can reproduce sexually and asexually. They can exist as single-celled organisms, but unfortunately they cannot partake in photosynthesis. Okay, incorrect statements here being A and E. All right, let's move forward. Species Survival Commission. Straightforward question, really. It is a sub-body that represents and reports to the IUCN, the International Union of Bulbul, thank you for your messages. Thank you. All right. Yes, so SSC does report to IUCN, so C being the correct answer here. And finally, which of the above is not an example of Nagara style of temple architecture? Yesterday we discussed Nagara style. Yesterday we also looked at Dravida. And we discussed an important, say, temple, the Bhoram Deo temple in Chhattisgarh, which is a representative or is made of, say, the Gurur style of temple architecture. In terms of the options that I've given you, the Sun Temple Konark, the Sun Temple Modhera in Gujarat, and the Ocean Temple in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Well, these 3 are examples of the Nagara style. Whereas the Meenakshi Amman Temple in Madurai, a very famous temple, a revered deity, well, the temple is made in the Dravida style of temple architecture. Well, if there is a general consensus on how you go ahead and identify them, well, the temples in North India, Nagara style, temples in Southern India, Dravida style. Okay, so that would have been the obvious interpretation here. Right? Okay. So D being my answer. Okay. So let's look at these individuals: Deepanshi, Ashlekha, Pooja, Karuna, Tanu, Be Life Facts, Mandeep, Asha, your neighbor, Coder, Ayush and Akshay. Firstly, thank you guys for your participation, on this very auspicious day, may I say, Teachers' Day, where it gives me a lot of warmth and a lot of encouragement to see regular participation of some students. I'm immensely grateful to you. Okay. And to the rest, may I please request you, look at the questions that I have for you. All right. First, understand the topic. Thereafter, attempt the questions. Sometimes you may be required to do, say, 5 to 10 minutes of research work, which will be related to the topic that I have just discussed, which will essentially be filling in the blanks, the knowledge gaps that I obviously cannot cover in the course of, say, 40-50 minutes. But it will aid your understanding of that particular topic, as well as help you go ahead solve questions related to your topic, okay, which is essentially the whole point of the prelims examination. So please, to the rest, on Teachers' Day, on this very auspicious day, I request you, go ahead, look at the questions I have for you today and attempt them, okay? All right. So let's begin with my first topic that I have for you, the Deeksha e-education platform. Now, before we discuss the Deeksha e-education, what I want to bring to your notice is personalized adaptive learning, the PAL process. Okay. Now, what has been observed recently? Before I discuss what PAL is, obviously the notes are there. You'll find it in my Instagram channel, my Telegram handle. But understand the point of this. Recently, a survey was conducted and it was found that a major number of dropouts are happening, say, in standard 9th, 10th. Okay. Now, that was an area of concern. In fact, is an area of concern. Pranjul, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining. Right. So, because you have, say, students dropping out in standard 9th and 10th, so the government of India now goes ahead and includes and introduces personalized adaptive learning from standard 9th to 12th. Now, let's understand the point of this. Firstly, why were the students dropping out? Obviously, there was a lack of interest, there was a lack of understanding. It was obviously a lot to do with a variety of factors, from infrastructure to teachers to the student interest to obviously the parents also being an equal stakeholder in this process. Okay, so let's understand PAL first. Personalized adaptive learning. It is going to be integrated into the Deeksha platform. Full form of Deeksha, digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. Now, what is PAL? It is a software-based approach that aims to provide each and every student with an individualized learning experience. That so far, the strategy of, say, one strategy or one particular method suiting all students, that has been, say, focused and has been the, in fact, norm over the years, that is being done away with. If you look at, say, NEP 2020, all right, one of the key points that is included in NEP 2020 is to foster critical learning. All right, that it is to foster discovery, right? That interpretation and speed of learning of each and every student may be different, which means that the knowledge base or the knowledge resources that you provide to a student must be tailored to the individual student's capabilities. Okay, predictive, personalized adaptive learning essentially goes ahead and talks about this. So let's understand. Integration of the PAL, the personalized adaptive learning, it is expected to revolutionize the platform, and you are going to use artificial intelligence to cater to the specific needs of the students. Now, how so? How will AI be used? For example, if as a student, you are to go ahead and say learn about, say, El Nino, right? Now, can you understand El Nino without, say, understanding about the different pressure belts or, say, about the temperature land gradient or the differential heat that occurs on temperature and on ocean and land? So many concepts need to be understood in toto before you can understand, say, El Nino or La Nina, right? Which is what this AI is going to do. If a student makes a mistake, say, in understanding El Nino, the AI is going to figure out that, yes, here is the concept lacking, say, in pressure belt variation. Or here is the concept lacking insofar as the differential heating of land and sea is concerned. Okay, and then you are going to be rerouted to that particular lecture, understand the basics, and then come up. And this is going to be done on a real-time basis. Okay, that essentially is the gist of personalized adaptive learning. Okay. Afrin, I am so grateful for your message. Thank you so much, really. And happy Teachers' Day to all of you too. Thank you guys for joining. All right. So let me know if you're understanding what PAL is, because the point is, in the examination, you are going to be asked to interpret what PAL is. Okay. So you should be able to understand that PAL, or personalized adaptive learning, is to do with first feeding you all the basics, then going ahead and taking you a step further in the complex topics. If you make a mistake in the complex topics, you are rerouted once again to the basics. Okay, that this strategy is going to go ahead and fulfill and aid your holistic understanding in a particular topic. Okay, so for example, example that I have for you, if a student makes a mistake while learning a concept, the AI system will flag it and guide the student back to a basic video first. So until and unless you know your basics, you cannot go ahead and understand the complex concepts. Okay, initial focus 9th to 12th. The reason that I gave you, essentially too many people, too many students dropping out of say 9th to 10th, that obviously hampering our school retention, okay, hampering the learning process at a very key part of your say educational career. Okay, so the personalized adaptive learning now being introduced in the Deeksha platform. Now let's understand what is Deeksha platform. Okay, the digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. If you look at this particular slide here for you, that I have for you. So you look at say textbooks, teacher professional development, you're looking at content, quizzes, data tools, chatbot, collaboration, more importantly. Okay, now what is this whole slide about? Why have I included this slide? Essentially to tell you that Deeksha is going to be going and making sure that it's a multi-stakeholder approach that has been included. Okay, and we'll see in the next slide how so this Deeksha platform has gone ahead and aided a student by having this particular approach. But before we understand the approach, let's identify the stakeholders. Okay, so number one, you're obviously looking at say the student. Okay, this is what we always do here, guys. We always take a look at the stakeholders first, because until and unless you identify who the stakeholders are of this particular platform, only then can you understand what the platform is seeking to address. Okay, so you are looking at students first, thereafter teachers. All right, you're looking at say school administration. All right, you're also looking at say textbooks and course books. All right, and eventually you're looking at say delivery of all of these to the student, the delivery of content. All right, now let's identify the problems that we have first. Okay, in terms of say the multiple stakeholders that I have just introduced before you, say students, teachers, school administration, textbooks, one problem is that if say machine learning or say artificial intelligence is going to be used to explain concepts to students, who is going to create the content? Okay, will the content be copyright free? Obviously, you can't go ahead and say plagiarize content and then present it in front of the students, which is what the point of say the Deeksha platform also is. Okay, so what you're going to look at, let's look at it one by one. Deeksha, which stands for Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing, a national platform, more importantly for school students right now, only for school education. Okay, and this initiative is by the NCERT. So what has NCERT done? Okay, you will find that NCERT has designed courses, modules, as it has already done so in say physical format. All of that is available on Deeksha. Besides and over and above what NCERT has given, you also find a host of content that is available for the students. Okay. Yes, Bulbul, fair assumption. We'll come to that too. Teacher training is essential. We'll understand that too. So you'll see Deeksha has been currently widely adopted. You're looking at say state boards, CBSE schools, ICSE schools, all using this frequently in the content delivery or knowledge delivery to the student. Okay. And you understand this here now. The whole criticism earlier, for example, when you and I were students, the criticism was that in a class of say 50 students, everyone is expected to learn at the same rate. Everyone is expected to consume information, process information, interpret information at the same rate. That does not always happen. Okay. Same thing in cases of say regions also. Each region now is given the autonomy under the Deeksha platform to go ahead and tailor their requirements according to their needs. Okay. This one size fits all policy that has been the norm so far, well, that is being sought to be done away with now. Okay. So you're looking at each state and union territory having the autonomy to leverage the Deeksha platform according to its own unique needs. Right. So this includes utilizing the platform's various capabilities, executing educational programs, and look at this, the stakeholder approach that we just discussed. Quickly, you understand right now that yes, even though primarily Deeksha is planned at, say, the school students, it is also looking to address the issues faced by teachers and administration equally. Right? So the stakeholder approach, because once again, if the examination asks you to identify which of the following are part or served under the Deeksha platform, well, it is not just the learners. Okay, you're looking at teachers, you're looking at school administration also. So NCERT textbooks licensed under Creative Commons, and all the resources again licensed. Okay, Creative Commons, essentially, it is available for the general public to circulate and say make use of it in educational purposes, non-commercial purposes. Okay, and this is also being sought to be done by the Deeksha platform. Right? Okay. Now, additional features, more importantly, now that we have understood, say, the different stakeholders, in terms of students, now you're looking at students with special needs, which means that the Divyangjans also have been included. So to support children with special needs, Deeksha offers a wide range of resources, and you're looking at audiobooks, Indian Sign Language videos, and dictionaries. Make a note of this, please. Yes, that it is, again, the whole point is that the platform should be inclusive, that it should factor in all sorts and all types of students, students with special needs, students, say, who may be Divyangs. All of them have to be equally served and efficiently served under the Deeksha platform. Okay. At the same time, teacher professional developmental program. Here it is, Bulbul. Your point here that yes, teacher training is a must. Professional training for the teachers is a prerequisite to guaranteeing good outcomes on behalf of the students, on part of the students. Okay. Which is why you find that the Nishtha program, National Initiative for School Heads and Teachers Holistic Advancement. Make a note of this, please. Okay. Be absolutely aware what Deeksha is, what PAL is, and what Nishtha is. Okay. So you're looking at professional development for teachers also being served under the Deeksha platform. Now, during, say, coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, you must have heard of, say, classes being conducted on, say, Doordarshan, or classes being aired on All India Radio. Why was that happening? Because eventually NCERT then tied up with these agencies to disseminate information, bring the classroom to your house. Okay, and that is going to be, that is remaining the focus even now. Okay? Ashlekha, good morning, sir. Thank you. You too, Ashlekha. Happy Teachers Day to you too. Thank you. Right? So you're looking at content delivery to students through PME Vidya DTH. Okay, you're looking at, again, national broadcasters like Doordarshan and All India Radio that are also a part of this process. And all of this to why? Essentially bring the classroom to the house of the student. Okay, and at the same time, you're looking at a digital content contributed by schools, teachers, NGOs, partners, and corporates. So essentially, the content delivery is not just the responsibility of NCERT. Yes, even though NCERT might be the nodal agency, say for Deeksha, you and I, if so desire, we can also go ahead, create courses on Deeksha and serve our students on that platform. And this is also being done through the CSR initiatives of various corporates. They are designing tailor-made, say, courses, okay, tailor-made programs, making sure that it aids the holistic development of a student that we always focus about. Okay, all right. All right, let's look at these questions meanwhile. Catherine, thank you so much for your wishes, guys. I am most grateful to you. All right, let's look at this, guys. Adaptive learning and personalized learning. You are going to figure out the differences for me. I have discussed in today's class about personalized adaptive learning. Thereafter, we discussed Deeksha. And thereafter, we discussed Nishtha. And obviously, we sought to link all of these by the identification of the various stakeholders. Now, what you're going to do for me is figure out the difference between personalized adaptive learning and just adaptive learning. Okay, so adaptive learning relies heavily on data and analytics to provide personalized recommendations. Personalized learning allows students to shape their learning experience. Which of the above are correct? Let me know in the comment box. What you're going to do, the newcomers, if you're joining me for the first time, Here is what you do. I have say around 6-7 questions for you. Leave them in a format in the comment box. And if you get your answers correct, well, you get featured in tomorrow morning's class. And well, you will see that it will aid your understanding of the topic eventually. In the long run, you are going to benefit out of this. Right, let's look at question B. Under the NEP 2020, the education policy, what is the target gross enrollment ratio to be achieved in higher education? Okay, what is the GER that we are looking to achieve in terms of just higher education? 50% by 2030, 50% by 2035, 50% by 2040, or none of the above. You're going to identify the correct statement for me. All right, let's look at the next question. Under NEP 2020, once again, a very, very important topic. Okay, given that the reforms are coming fast and thick in the education sector, a good starting point for any student will be to first apprise himself or herself of the NEP 2020. Go it clause by clause. Seek to understand what the bill wants to convey. Okay, so under NEP 2020, what is ECCE related to? All right, you have to give me the full form of ECCE. Statement 1, education and caring of child in elementary classes. Statement B, education about climate change in elementary classes. Statement C, early childhood care and education. Or statement D, early childhood consciousness about environment. Okay. Once again, please understand that NEP 2020 does seek to inform the students at a very primary and say middle school level about environment and climate change. However, you will go ahead and identify the full form of ECCE for me. Leave the answers for me in the comment box. Right? Right, my dear students. That is the first topic for the day that we did. We took a deep dive in understanding the Deeksha platform. All right. And if you understood the discussion, if you understood the point of Deeksha platform, as well as what Nishtha is all about, go ahead and leave me a like. And if you are a first timer, may I also request you to go ahead and share this with your friends. You know, we can have a lot more students benefiting out of this whole endeavor, right? And by the way, on the 11th of September, not too long to go now, our morning batch, next morning batch beginning, okay, are several batches running, and what you'll find is that the entire focus of the lectures here is to ensure outcome-based learning. That if you go ahead and listen to me for say 45 to 50, 60 odd minutes, you should be able to solve at least 5 to 7 questions. And in terms of the prelims to interview initiative, this is looking to handhold you with that strategy in mind, right from the prelims up until the interview process. Okay. And so for any serious candidate, this would be again a good starting point if you are not say sure of how to go ahead and approach UPSC 2024. Head over to studyiq.com, or you can find the link in the description box below, right? Go ahead, look at the course deliverables, look at the faculty profiles, okay? Look at the testimonials that we have for you. Thereafter, once you decide to sign up, use the code BALIVE. BALIVE. Why? That assures you a big discount. And more importantly, it gives me an opportunity to be a part of your learning process. Okay, so I hope to see many of you on the 11th of September in a morning batch beginning at 8 a.m. Take care. After we have understood Deeksha platform, now let's head down south. Onam festival was celebrated recently. Okay, observed with a lot of pride, a lot of fervor. And during the Onam celebrations, there is a popular tradition. Obviously, first we know about the Valamkali, say the boat race, the synchronized boat race that we know about. Okay, Valamkali, the boat race. All right, very, very famous. Okay, but besides say the Valamkali, one thing that you need to be aware of is the Pulikali. Now, what exactly is the Pulikali? Okay, so as a grand finale to the Onam celebrations in the God's own country, in Kerala, Pulikali dance is performed. Now, what exactly happens? You have to have a look at this photo here. You will have humans, in fact individuals, who will dress up as tigers and leopards. They will go ahead and paint their bodies with say tiger motifs and paints, right? They will resemble exactly like a tiger, and then they will have a dance, a celebration. Okay, that is Pulikali. Okay, now unlike say the other forms of classical dance, there is no rule here. No, you are allowed to interpret it, celebrate it, dance in your own manner. Okay, this essentially began as a street dance during the reign of Raja Rama Varma. Okay, we'll discuss Raja Rama Varma, but please understand, this is no rules. right? Go ahead, dance the way, interpret, celebrate Onam in the method that you want, but dressed as a tiger or a leopard. That essentially is the essence of the Pulikali dance. Okay, please understand Onam, the two Kalis that you ought to know of. Vanam Kali, that is to do with the boat race, and Pulikali is this particular street form of dance. Now that has become an integral part of Onam celebrations in Kerala. Okay, so no rigid rules for dance movements. Each artist creates their own unique style, and thus you have dynamic and individualistic performances, right? What you're also looking at is it translates to tiger dance or tiger play, and thus you have also got the presence of traditional percussion instruments. Okay? Your neighbor, thank you, thank you. You too, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining, guys, all of you this morning. Okay, so now Raja Rama Varma. Okay, he was the Maharaja of Cochin, who is essentially credited with introducing this dance in the, around 2 centuries ago. Okay, 200 years ago, my bad. Okay, now what you're looking at is in terms of, the interpretation of this dance. Okay, earlier it was frowned upon. Okay, the purists around, say, the festival, they said, well, no, this is not a part of it. Eventually, though, the people's will won, and Pulikali, the celebration, the spontaneous outpouring of the Onam celebrations, now that has become an integral part. Up until, say, 2016, 2017, okay, it was only the men folk who would take part in the Pulikali dance. However, since 2016-17, you also find women now equal part and an equal stakeholder in the Pulikali celebrations. Okay, so here it is. So it was obviously introduced by Maharaja Raja Rama Varma to go ahead and bring a lot of entertainment to the Onam celebrations 2 centuries ago, and it has seen women participants too. So here is a festival now keeping up with the changing social dynamics, bringing it to relevance insofar as 21st century is concerned. Okay, so an integral part. Make sure that you know of this and also understand that Valam Kali plus Pulikali is important for you insofar as, say, the Onam celebrations are concerned. Also know the harvest festivals. I have a question for you today on the popular harvest festivals of India. Okay, so obviously we have Rabi crop, Kharif crop, and festivals are observed celebrating the harvest of each types of crop. So you ought to know which harvest festival celebrates which crop. Okay, and that is the point of my question. We will seek to understand that. First, let's tell you, you will answer me, which of the above explains Vallam Kali? Okay, option 1, women depicting stories of King Vamana. Statement B, synchronized boat racing. C, mechanized harvesting during Onam. Or D, a night-long commemorative prayer that is held during Onam. Which of the above is related to Vallam Kali is what you will answer for me in the comment box. And statement E. Now this might be a tricky question. Go ahead. Firstly, after you have solved this question, if you want to go ahead and finish this topic for yourself, what you're going to do is festival and harvest. Whether Rabi or Kharif or even Zaid, okay, go ahead, make it list-wise and complete your understanding. Okay, if in case you want me to do it, I'll be happy to put out a list in my Telegram channel too. Let me know in the comment box. Okay, so which of the above are harvest festivals? Statement A, Lohri. Statement B, Chhat Puja. Statement C, Dasai. And statement D, Gudi Padwa. You will let me know which of the above are harvest festivals that are observed in India. Right? This is where you connect with me, guys. Once again, my Instagram handle. Okay, if you have any particular doubts, by the way, any particular strategy guidance that you might so require. Okay, I specialize in geography, environment, CSAT. So you can go ahead, connect with me. You know, I can also guide you in international relations. If you have any particular concept that requires simplification, I will try my utmost to simplify it for you. All right. So this is where you reach out to me. If you have a detailed email to send me, well, this is where my email ID is bhuvan.jha@studyiq.com. Okay. Now let's head moonward from the state of Kerala. Okay. Yesterday, the official Twitter handle of ISRO put out a tweet saying the HOP experiment was conducted successfully. Okay, so first let's understand the Chandrayaan 3 right now, after having gone through all the experiments, the ILSA, the CHASTE, which we have discussed in detail in previous classes, now the Chandrayaan 3's mission has changed. We know that earlier, the entire point of Chandrayaan 3 mission was to survive one lunar day, which is essentially close to roughly around say 14 Earth days. Okay. Eventually, after say the one lunar day on moon is over, now the entire module of Chandrayaan has gone on sleep mode, and it is expected to come back to life, wake up on 22nd September. Bear in mind, these were not announced when say the initial documents related to Chandrayaan 3 were released. Okay. You also find that yesterday, before it went into sleep mode, something called the HOP experiment was conducted. Let's understand HOP experiment and let's understand what exactly is the point of sleep mode. Okay. So first here have a look at this image that I have for you. Pre and post hop ramp images captured by the lander image camera. Now, what has happened yesterday? Let's understand that first. Yesterday, on command, the lander module, okay, Vikram, it fired the engines. It elevated itself to about 40 centimeters and then landed safely back again at a distance of say 40 centimeters away. Okay. Now, to the uninitiated, this was originally not announced by the ISRO, but the consequences of what has happened yesterday are immense. Okay. Now, ideally, Chandrayaan 3 could have been say a sample return mission, which means it could have gone to the moon and collected samples from the moon, come back to Earth. That would have happened had say Chandrayaan 2 been successful. However, that was not to be the case, which means Chandrayaan 3's mission's objective was initially just limited to reaching the moon, roving on the moon, collecting data, sending it back to Earth. However, in this process, yesterday, what the ISRO people have done is made sure that they're able to go ahead, raise the particular module from the lunar surface, move it close to 40 centimeters, and then land it back again. Essentially, a hop. Okay. What is the consequence of this? Understand this here. This will enthuse future sample returns and human missions. The ability to maneuver at a remote distance, make sure that it has, say, the ability to go ahead and move a particular distance, take off from the lunar surface. That has ramifications insofar as our future missions. First, for getting a sample from the moon back to Earth is concerned. And thereafter, after you have mastered that technology of taking off from the moon and sending things back to Earth, then you go ahead and introduce the Gaganyaan mission, which means now you go ahead, send a rocket to moon with the humans in it. Now that you have mastered the technology of taking off from the moon and coming back to Earth, after the sample return mission has been done, only then, I hope you can appreciate, you can send humans to the moon, right? Which is why yesterday's hop maneuver is crucial. Understand it as the genesis of what could possibly be the bigger road, the larger picture towards Gaganyaan mission. Okay. Up until now, if you had say gone through the various classes that we have done around Chandrayaan 3, you would have known that our mission objectives was just limited to landing, roving, collecting data and sending back. The mere ability to launch that particular lander, bring it up, shift it a bit, land it back again, okay, at a distance that we are, is of immense significance. Okay, you look at it, this strategy was also employed by the Chinese, by the way. Okay, the Chinese Chang'e, the lunar program, it also progressed on very similar lines. What were the similar lines? First, go ahead, land, thereafter rove, thereafter collect samples, which means send them back to Earth, and only then you go ahead and say launch humans. Okay, the hop maneuver is a part of just before say sending samples back to the Earth. Okay, so this capability is key to future lunar missions where ISRO would want the spacecraft to return with samples from the moon or when it plans to land human beings on the moon. The ability to maneuver the whole system independently, autonomously, at a distance on the surface of the moon is crucial to making sure that we can do this safely, efficiently. And next would be, go ahead, send a space mission, collect some moon debris, moon rocks, moon soil, bring it back to Earth. Okay, you have had, say, recently in United States, you found plants being grown in lunar soil. Okay, why was that achieved? Because they had lunar soil in the first place. They were able to master this technology. We have also done it now, and eventually you will find in the coming days, ISRO's first objective will be to get and engage in a sample return program. Okay, collect some debris, some particular material from the moon, bring it here, analyze, interpret it, research about it, which also means you have mastered the technology to launch from the surface of the moon and come back to Earth. And after you have mastered this, go ahead. The first Indian to land on the surface of the moon will become a reality. Okay. So the ramp was used by the rover. Now, after you have discussed this, now that you have understood the hop experiment, let's understand the sleep mode. Okay. Ideally, we knew that this whole mission was for, say, 14 Earth days, 1 lunar day. Now, yesterday, the south pole of the moon where our mission landed, now that has gone into darkness, which means access to solar energy is cut off. Now you know, and I know, that Chandrayaan 3 is dependent on solar energy to essentially power the entire thing. Okay. Now that it is in darkness, it has been put into sleep mode by the ISRO, with the hope that once again, when the South Pole, the particular landing spot, sees sunlight next time, after 14 days, which is on September the 22nd, then it will be able to come back to life. That it will still have some sort of energy left in itself, and then it will be able to harness the incoming solar energy and then further progress on the research missions that it has been sent out to. Okay. So this is the sleep mode that we are talking about. It was again not announced by the ISRO in the initial stage, which is why I'm saying that the mission objectives are now developing after the progress and after the success of the initial objectives. Okay. Let's look at this now. The ramp was used by the rover, which was initially held inside the lander module. It slid down on the lunar surface. You had the payloads and all the components that touched the lunar surface. And then after that, all of them folded themselves up and redeployed themselves after the hop. All of these are now in sleep mode, waiting for the next lunar day to come on the September the 22nd, where again, the entire officers, staff, scientists of ISRO plus the entire country will be keeping their fingers crossed that it comes back to life and then goes ahead and serves us for the next 14 days insofar as research on the lunar surface is concerned. Right. So this was the ISRO's hop experiment. Now before I close this class for today, well, this is N. Valaramathi ma'am. Okay. She was the voice behind the ISRO launches. And I say the word was with a heavy heart because unfortunately she passed away yesterday, just a couple of days ago. Yes, she was the voice that we heard during the Chandrayaan 3 launch. And so on Teachers' Day, on behalf of all our students here who are regular watchers, us, the entire staff and people here at StudyIQ, my humble tributes to this lady. You know, her voice is immortalized and it will stay with me because the exuberance in her voice along with the calmness in her voice is something that is hard to forget. So on that note, my dear students, we close this particular class of Editorial Edge. I have put forth, say, around 5 to 6 questions for you. At the same time, we have discussed hop experiment, to which I will be giving a few questions on my Telegram handle, say after 12 noon. Right? So go ahead, access the PDF of this lecture on my Telegram handle. If you have any particular feedback for me, anything that you want to send me, yes, the comment box is open. Or you can reach out to me on my Instagram handle too. Right. Till I see you again tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. with another set of important topics which will aid your holistic understanding and obviously will look to solve questions too. This is Bhuvan Apurva signing off with once again, thank you to all of you who took time out this morning, not just to attend my class, but also to send me your wishes. Okay. Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Bye.